Folks, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back in Total War Warhammer 2, where we have Desert Fox and Poison Ducky. This is going to be Greenskins, led by Skarsnik, up against Vampire Counts, led by Strigoi, Ghoul King. Now, it has been a long time since we have seen Strigoi, Ghoul King, and honestly, you don't see Skarsnik every day, though he is probably an increasingly popular choice after the Greenskin update, as he has become a lot more dangerous. Let's talk a little bit about these two leaders and what their specialties are before we jump into this battle, which is going to be a fun one. Now, Strigoi, Ghoul King is going to be a low armor unit, but he's going to deal heavy armor-piercing damage with very high melee attack, and he's also poison character, so it's going to slow down enemy units. Oh, sorry. The scroll speed is going to slow down enemy units as far as damage and their speed and stuff as he's attacking them. He can also summon crypt ghouls, and if you overcast it, he can summon a crypt horror. He comes with a lore of magic, and he's got some special abilities. One of his special abilities can heal up to about 1,500 hit points, so he's fairly survivable in combat as well. Now, there's a necromancer supporting him with just a summons, and if I think it's a forbidden rod helping him summon in power. Yep. So he's got the Forbidden Rod to help summon in more winds of magic for the Vampire Counts. The front line of the Vampire Counts is almost entirely zombies. I mean, there's a lot of zombies, though there is a single Stearnsman Graveguard here in front of the Crypt Horrors. There are several units of Crypt Horrors, 4 in total, actually. They're going to be supported by a Vargulf, and then there are a lot of Black Knights here for the Vampires. Black Knights are a unit that a lot of people forget about. Both the Lances and Barding and the Standard unit, they're really quite useful. And for the price, it can really be devastating in certain matchups. And against the Greenskins, who don't love fighting cavalry per se, though they did get better at it, I don't think it's a bad choice at all. 3 units of Black Knights, they're shielded, they have decent armor, and then they do anti-infantry damage, which can be very useful in cleaning up backlines, skirmishers, all that type of stuff. The Vargulf is going to be excellent armor-piercing support and heals. Basically a good unit to go in and tank some damage and deal some damage, while the Corpse Cart with the Unholy Lodestone is going to be supporting the melee stats and help heal, I think, units around it. So it's an interesting pick. There's a couple Fell Bats up in the air as well. As we move over to Skarsnik's army, let's take a look at it. It's going to be an interesting one. The main line is actually just cheap Goblin infantry. And up against the Vampires, this is both risky and smart. If you put something really expensive, it gives the Vampires something to focus their efforts on. If you go cheap, it's possible you get routed. And Skarsnik, though, is uniquely positioned to help buff leadership, as he has a special ability that'll put an extra 16 leadership. Plus, there is a Black Orc Big Boss, or just Bob, as we'll call him. Bob is here, and he has a special ability to encourage nearby units. And not just encourage them, but he also, if we take a look here, it's Rabble Rouse. So he makes units within 40 meters immune to psychology. And he himself is immune to psychology, as well as having the Brass Cleaver, which will improve the attack of nearby units. You can see he's going to be supporting 2 units of Stone Trolls, which are a unit of trolls with slightly better armor and heavier damage than a typical troll, and they are supported by a Savage Orc Biggin, which provides anti-large damage, so a pretty nice combination between the two. There's going to be 4 Goblins up front, and then to 8 Peak Loonies, which is an unbreakable unit of Goblin Fanatics right behind them, and then there's going to be several units of Savage Orc Error Boys. These are going to be the best archers, really, that the Greenskins can put on the field, and they are supported by a giant River Troll Hag, rocking, of course, her Lore of Death. She's got the Fate of Buna, Spirit Leech, Aspect of Dread Knight, which won't actually do much against the Vampires, to be fair, but interesting pick there. She's also going to be able to support in melee pretty well. Skarsnik himself bears poison weapon damage, poison attack, and then he's got a anti-large armor-piercing weapon strength. But most importantly with Skarsnik is his the SHROOMZ ability, his fermented fungi. If a unit has taken enough damage and they're within this range and he pops it, it will cause their melee defense to drop considerably and then cause that unit to rampage. It's very dangerous to the Vampires, so they'll have to keep an eye out for it. There are 2 Savage Orc Biggins out on the other flank as well. That pretty much covers the armies. Let's see how this fight unfolds. It is going to be a really fast and fun battle, and I think you all are going to enjoy it. So Strigoi, Ghoul King charges the front lines. Acts like he's just going in alone before he decides, okay, you know what? I'll wait for my army to show up on this one. The archers are going to open fire on the Corpse Cart. Not a bad target. If it's going to be healing and buffing, it certainly would be a target that you would want to get rid of before it can make itself felt. You can see some Black Knights are swinging wide around this flank, 2 units of them, to threaten the Greenskin rear, and at this point the Greenskins aren't ignoring it, but they're sending a Savage Orc that direction. It's just that they're going to be easily outmaneuvered by these knights that are a lot faster. The corpse cart takes a lot of damage. The fell bats, I'm surprised, have not swooped in on the archers yet, but we did get a nice summon here from the necromancer to slow down some of the savage orc arrow boys, and here come the bats. Looks like that they are definitely wanting to go in and get after these archers. The greenskin archers are going to find themselves in trouble. There are savage orc biggins chasing the cavalry, but the cavalry has already found its mark, and with 3 units, it's nice control here. Nice control here by Poison Ducky. He's causing a lot of damage with this cavalry, and the greenskins are in some big trouble right now. They are surrounded, and they are taking a beating up front, and they are taking a beating in the back. But here comes a Wah just in time to kind of help stabilize and help the greenskins start to increase their damage back, while a Cryptor unit goes down right here in the middle at the hands of Skarsnik and his River Troll Hag. The Black Orc Big Boss over here is keeping this flank from collapsing. The Vargulf can terrify, and it's just going to be difficult for the vampires to break everything over here while the Black Orc Big Boss is in the fray. Now, it's interesting, this, oh, look at this, the fermented fungi. What a call there by Skarsnik. Oh, those Black Knights are going to get shredded now by the Savage Orc Biggins, so excellent play by Skarsnik with the fermented fungi and getting taking control of this unit, because you can see how badly the vampires attack with savaging in. I'm kind of curious here. There's a lot of zombies in this battle, but the Black Knights and the Cryptors are not cycle charging at the moment, which they definitely need to be, because given time, these Savage Orc Biggins will rip through large targets. You can see here that Strigoi is in here trying to mop up the Black Orc Big Boss, but the River Troll Hag comes in to support him, and the 8 Peak Saloonies are just not going to rout, and then some of the trolls that were initially routed are now back into combat. This can be the danger of the Greenskins. Even with an initial break of them, they can sometimes come right back into the fight. See Black Orc Big Boss. Black Orc Big Boss and Strigoi are actually very dangerous to each other. Black Orc Big Boss does really good damage to unarmored targets, which is the Strigoi, and Strigoi does really good damage to heavily armored targets, which is the Black Orc Big Boss. So they are kind of an interesting counterbalance to each other in terms of their melee capabilities. Though Strigoi, at least with all of his healing, is getting the better of this, but there's a lot of greenskin support here. If you look at this fight, the vampires just aren't able to get out of it and put any more support over here, and so the Savage Orc Biggins are just doing exactly as their name suggests. They are just absolutely savaging this fight, and they're anti-large, and just high attack values and damage in general are really, really putting a beating. Now, zombies obviously cannot stop a Savage Orc Biggin, but they can act as a base to allow the other units to cycle charge, and that's what needed to happen here, but it didn't happen, and there was too much time in combat, and so those Savage Orcs were able to actually turn it around. Early on in this battle, it looked like the vampires were just going to roll straight through the greenskins, but here's another fermented fungi on the Vargulf, so very nice call by Skarsnik, who now locks this unit into combat with himself, and Skarsnik excels at this type of combat. You can see he's not actually getting pummeled around a lot like a normal unit would with the Vargulf. It's actually a benefit for Skarsnik, and it allows him to do a lot of damage to the Vargulf before it stops rampaging and is able to move off. He can then turn his attention to Strigoi, who did eventually beat Bob in combat, but Bob is over here routing. He's only got 44 hit points. He took a savage beating in the end, but he did a fantastic job of holding that flank together. Notice that flank never did collapse. It had some unbreakable loons, and then it also had Bob over there, so it was not going to go down quickly, which is really what the vampires need in a matchup against greenskins. They need the greenskins to go down quickly, because a lot of the vampire chaff that's necessary for the other units to survive just can't take the kind of damage that greenskins can dish out over the course of a battle. And so, really fun battle here between Desert Fox and Poison Ducky. Hope you all enjoyed this one. I know I enjoyed getting to see it. Like I said, fun battle overall. These players did a good job. Of course, one player always loses, and some people are like, well, he lost. Well, I mean, just because you lose doesn't mean you didn't play well. I thought that the play with the Black Knights was really neat. I think this is a solid pick versus the Greenskins, and something that people may not always consider. Now, again, there's different variants of the Black Knights. The ones with lances and barding are going to do a lot more damage on a charge. These Black Knights are meant to maybe be in more extended melee for longer. And considering that Greenskins can bring quite a bit of infantry, that's not a bad idea. As far as the ability to do armor-piercing damage, you had Cryptors, you had a Vargulf, you had a Lodestone. It's an interesting vampire army. Not exactly what I would have expected, especially with Strigoi there, but a fun one. And then as far as the Greenskin army, again, Skarsnik is not totally unexpected in today's Greenskins, but he is an interesting pick. But I mean, look at the Savage Orc Biggins and the Loonies here. Most of these are zombie kills, but it just shows you how effective they are versus the zombies, and then remain effective against the large units that the vampires field. Anything that doesn't have armor and is large really gets shredded on by Savage Orcs, and even the units with decent armor, like the Black Knights, given time, they get worn down. I think the pick of the Stone Trolls was interesting, especially with the support of the Black Orc Big Boss to help their leadership. These guys dish out a lot of armor-piercing damage, they can regenerate, and they can kind of tank some damage for the Greenskins, and combining them with the Black Orc Big Boss was a cool decision there. Giant River Troll Hag, I think it's a fun pick for the Greenskins right now, and then, like I said, Skarsnik, an interesting one too. Anyway, I appreciate these players playing this game. Thanks to Desert Fox for sending it in. He's been a long-time part of the channel, and he joined the Discord and has been sharing a lot with us a while back. If you want to do the same, please do. We love having you and awesome people like Desert Fox and others on our Discord, so please come join it. We'd love to have you there. It's a great way to get involved in a Total War community, and I promise you, you won't regret it. If you enjoy this game, it'll be a ton of fun. And there's a lot of other communities out there in Total War Warhammer 2, and being in our Discord could help expose you to those as well. Like I said, it's definitely a good thing for you in the end if you are into this game. Anyway, I'm going to sign out for now. I'll be back with some more Total War action soon, and I hope you all enjoyed this one.